Hey y'all, it's Nancy, the Handy Scandy, here for Whimsy Stamps. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to be making a fun little shaker card using a variety of products, namely this little guy and the coordinating die from Monster Cuties, as well as this guy and the sentiment from Monster Moods. And of course we'll have these dies with the Shaker Maker banner dies, as well as the Wonky Stitched rectangle dies and the frame label dies, as well as the beautiful pattern paper from the Boca 6x6 pattern paper pack. So I bring in some confetti towards the end as well, but to get us started, I did my die cutting off screen, and I used the Shaker Maker banner dies to create these two beautiful banners with that gorgeous paper from the Boca pattern paper pack, y'all. It's so pretty. It's specifically Halloween, but obviously you can see that these particular papers are not Halloween. You can use them for anything. So that was my idea behind this. And I kind of auditioned everything on the white panel, which was die cut out using the Wonky Stitch rectangle die. That's going to be my foundation, if you will. So I cut out the shaker parts to these banner dies, and I used double-sided tape to adhere the frame that will be the shaker window down to the acetate. The acetate is from This Calls for Confetti, and it has a fantastic protective layer. So you saw me peeling that layer off. That makes sure that your acetate doesn't get scratched up and messed up. I love that. Love that. So I lined up both of these die cut shapes, if you will, along the edges, and then I'm just using my scissors to kind of do an undercut on that acetate so that it doesn't stick out beside or beyond the edges of the die cut. So here I am adhering double-sided foam tape. This is 1/4 inch tape. I could not, or this is 1/8 inch tape, and I could not find my 1/4 inch. So I lined both of the shaker windows with that tape. I just did a double line, if you will, side by side to make sure that the shaker windows would be nice and sturdy. Then I'm using a little bit of anti-static powder on both of the shaker windows as well as the pattern paper, because I don't want there to be any static for these confetti to stick to. And so I'm using the iridescent clear, whoop, I'm dropping things, the iridescent clear confetti, as well as the golden beryl, B-E-R-Y-L, the lime, and the glossy white. So I figured that these just pulled out all of those beautiful colors in the pattern paper and just made everything go together that much more. And yeah, using my little spoon to make sure that I don't pour out too much, because I tend to, and you can see especially on that green one, I was piling it up. And then I almost always use wet glue on sticky glue, whether it's foam adhesive or double-sided adhesive. I almost always use wet glue so that I have the wiggle room. And that on that small banner, that was case in point why I wish I had put the wet glue, because I put it down wonky. So on this one, I learned my lesson. I used the wet glue. I did not need to readjust it, but had I needed to, I had the wet glue so that I would have been able to. Now here I'm auditioning my pieces again, and in the end I end up using the outside stitching of that Wonky Stitched rectangle die as kind of my guide to line things up. So I decide to go this route with the big banner on the bottom right and the small banner on the upper left, and again using that stitching on the outside edge of that bottom layer to yeah, just be my guide. So layering this one in the top left corner as I did the larger one to the bottom right, and then I mount the whole thing, the whole foundation, up to the card base, and then I trim off the excess on the right hand side as well as the bottom, and then I trim just a little bit off the left hand side just because it was folded odd. So that made my card just under 4.25, no, 5.5 by 4.25. I don't know, whatever the measurements are of an A2 card. It was just slightly less than that. And that allowed me to put another, I don't know, a back layer, another layering piece to the very back of the card. And we'll get there in just a second. But it allowed me to pull out some more color. So here I'm using that same 1/8 inch double-sided foam tape to mount my sweet little monsters. I went with the ones that had like spots on them to give a nod to the bokeh and to the confetti in the shakers. So the top little guy you can see is orange and yellow with the green spots, and the bottom one is green with orange and yellow spots, and I just felt like that coordinated everything together. And I was going to make this a Miss You card to go with my hashtag Miss You in May, and I did not even realize that I had used the wrong sentiment until right there. And I stamped it out a couple times, and yeah, but anyway, Monster loves you, Monster misses you, yeah, same thing. But here's where I was talking about adding that extra layer to the back. So it's just a panel of white cardstock, but I used my Ola marker to add that little bitty frame of yellow, and it's very, very subtle, but it added just one more little layer of color to kind of pull everything together. And so here's the finished card, double shakers, and it's very cute. And now, you know, if you're going to mail this, of course, you're going to have to pay a little bit of extra postage, or you can put, you know, another layer in there to kind of protect your work. But I often just hand my cards to people anyway. So, but this was very fun. I had a good time. If you guys are interested in any of the products, feel free to use the links downstairs in the description box. And in the meantime, I will meet you downstairs in the comment section, as well as over on the Whimsy Stamps Facebook page and Pinterest and Instagram. And until the next time, guys, this is Nancy, the Handy Scandy for Whimsy Stamps. Mwah! I'm out.